Hi, this is Ed with DFG Hosting and hostdamon.com, as well as DFG Design and Evolution-xtreme. I am going to do a tutorial here on how to set up and configure a VPS server with WHM and cPanel, and then we are going to install Litespeed web server on the server. Once that is finished, we will also transfer a website from another server to our VPS server. So to get started, the first thing we need to do is if you've once you have a VPS server, and let's just, for example, right now I have a CentOS 6 64-bit with cPanel. If I wanted to reinstall and I didn't want CentOS 6, I wanted, just CentOS 5 that's already pre-configured, I could use that. In this case, I'm going to use I'm going to go ahead and use the CentOS 6 with cPanel, and that's already done. From there, what I want to do is go ahead and log into my cPanel or WHM, and I'll do that by going to the IP and then :2086, and then I will just log in, and from here we just want to go through the basic steps, like for example, the email. I don't really want all this stuff here coming to me. I'm going to use this is my server's host name. I can leave the rest of this here default and just go on to step 3. In here, these are the 2 IP addresses that are associated with my server, this one being the main IP and this being the secondary IP. And we'll just go ahead and go to step 4. This is just really up to you. You can read up on which one you want. I'm going to leave it default at bind. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and change these to my name servers that I want to use. And then I need to go ahead and change these IP addresses. The IP addresses that I need to use are my IP addresses. So I'll just change those. This is the main IP, so I want to go ahead and add that here. And then I want to go ahead and go to the next step. And while this configures, we can just wait. You can use Pro FTPD for your FTP server. The Pure is what I'm going to use for this. It's simple. I also use this just because it has a low memory footprint. You can go ahead and go with this one. It's extremely reliable. It just really depends on what you need and what you want. It does let you know what your advantages and disadvantages are. I'll just go ahead and go on to step 6. And I do want to use file system quotas. You don't necessarily need them if you're just going to have one website on your VPS server. Let's go ahead and finish that. I do recommend using security tokens, and I don't recommend email archiving. So I'm just going to go ahead and save these settings here. Now that we're in here, if you have a valid cPanel license and not a trial, which I'm just using the trial for the tutorial, you won't have this message if you have a license. First thing I want to do is go into the server configuration here, and then I want to go into the basic cPanel and WHM setup. From here, the only thing I really want to do is make sure that this IP address is my server's IP address. And then I'm just going to save changes. Later, we would configure the IP addresses for the name servers. Before that really can be done, you need to set up private name servers, which that would be a different tutorial. I'll just go ahead and click save for now. We don't need those. Now once that is done, one of the things that we need to do is go in and we need to save or we need to compile PHP and Apache. So to do that, we would want to go into Software and Easy Apache and the Apache update. And what we want to do is go ahead and click on this here, and we'll wait just a second. And from here we just want to go with PHP encryption and image manipulation. It'll start you out with some basic default settings, and then just click Start Customizing based on profile. Now, depending on what you're running on your server, you may want to set yours differently than I'm going to set this, but I am going to set this up just how I would set up a basic server to run WordPress or Joomla or Evolution-xtreme or something like that. I do want to use PHP 5.3.21, so I will go to the next step. In here there's going to be a lot of options, and these will come up later as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to the exhaustive options list, and we'll just start from here. There are only a few things that you really want. You can go through if you want to, and you can read all these different features that this has. I'm just going to use some basic ones that I use. You do want the mod deflate and the disk cache, and probably the fast CGI support. Now, you do not want front page, unless you really want front page, but it's not needed. We'll use that. I will use this. I will not use this one here. I do not recommend using memcache unless you know what you're doing. And then, you know, like I said, you can just look at different options. I am going to go ahead and enable the accelerator. Depending on your security levels that you want, you can use mod security and suhosen for PHP. These will harden and protect your server and your files. I'm not going to turn these on now, but you can turn them on later. I would also recommend making sure that IonCube Loader, a lot of scripts use IonCube Loader, and the Zend and the Source Guardian, just in case you have something that needs it. And then we'll just go through here. You probably want curl SSL and the curl wrappers. You want the get text here. We do want MB string. And let's see here. I'm just going to try to go through these fairly quick. And there we go. Now we'll just name this the way we want it. And I'm just going to use let's just get some config. That way we know what we're doing. Now this will take anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes to compile. I am not going to let the video run that long. I will pause it during that time. So I will restart the video when it's finished. This is basically what's going to happen is it will check a few things, and then it will start compiling. Once this happens, you will just wait for a while. So in the meantime, we'll just let it run. Once the Apache has finished compiling, a screen will pop up here, and all you need to do is scroll down here to the bottom and just go ahead and click on Save New Configuration. And just wait a minute, you'll see it finishing up there. Once that's done, it'll say these settings are now active. Let's go ahead and close that. Now what we need to do is go in and we need to go ahead and set up our php.ini file, and we'll do that under PHP Configuration Editor. And in here I'm just going to, you can just set the basic defaults here. I'm just going to go into the advanced mode real quick. Most of the settings you can leave default. There's just a few we want to make sure that we change. Let me find them here. We do want to make sure file uploads are on. And we do want to change the memory limit. I would recommend at least 128. The post max size, I would say go with 64. And go ahead and leave short open tags on just in case you have old scripts. The upload max file size, this is just going to be what you can upload through your HTTP browser. I'll just set it at 50 for now. We do want to make sure that display errors is turned off in a production server. Now, if you're still testing and developing, then you want display errors on. That way you can see if there's any errors in your scripts. But on a live web server, I would recommend leaving it off. Let's go here. We do want that. I think we can probably go ahead and leave everything else default. Let me just double check here. Alright, we'll just go ahead and save that. Now our PHP has been set. One other thing that we want to do real quick is tweak the settings. And here we just want to go into the PHP because we did enable IonQ. And if you have a script that uses IonQ, we want to go ahead and make sure that that's enabled here. And go ahead and click Save. So, now that we've got Apache and PHP configured and everything, we can probably go ahead and install Litespeed web server. And to do that, basically all we need to do to start out with is we would need to go to litespeedtech.com. If you just want a trial on it, you can go into their products and web servers and you can click on the 15-day trial, and once you're in here you can click on the get a 15-day trial, scroll to the bottom, just agree, fill out the information, and then you can get the you'll get an email with your trial key. What we want is since I'm running a enterprise license and I'm running a trial, I would just download the Linux x86-64 and I would just get that link from here by just right-clicking on it and then copy link location. And I'll just copy that into a text file just so I have it, so I can use it in a minute. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and set up our and connect to the server. I use WinSCP to connect to the server, and I use PuTTY. To get into the root of the server, we're going to go ahead and go in here and we'll enter our host name, which is our IP address in most cases, and then root, and then our password. And we can go ahead and log in. Now, we would want to go back to the main root here, and then we have all of our folders in our home directory and everything. What we want to do to make things easy and to also make things safe is we're going to create a key through cPanel. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to find manage root SSH keys. And right here we have our generate a new key or import a key. If you have PuTTY, which I use to connect to the server as well, I'm going to use PuTTY-gen to create a key. And the way you do that is you just click generate and then you move your mouse around. And then you get a key and then you create a passphrase. It can be anything you want. It just it's better, and I'm going to just click save a public key. And you want to save your keys somewhere safe. I'm just going to go ahead and create a folder in here called server keys. And this one here is SSH public. And let's go ahead and save that file there. And then I need to save a private key as well. And I'll just call that SSH private. And we'll go ahead and save that there. So now we have our keys. We can go into our server and we can import a key. Now I just need to have a name for this key, and I'm just going to call it SSH key. And I need to enter the passcode, so we'll do that. And then we just need to go into documents and then our server keys, and we'll find our private key. We need to paste the private key into the top box here. I'm going to open this in Notepad. It just makes it a little easier. And we're just going to copy this whole key here. We'll just paste it in the box here. And then we need to get the public key as well. And I'm just going to paste that in here and click import. And just don't worry about this right here. Just return to the SSH manager. And now we're going to authorize it. And we just do that by doing this. So this SSH2 public has been authorized. We can return here. And now what we need to do is go back into our WinSCP, and instead of just connecting to the site like that, what we're going to do is we're going to enter our host name again, which is our IP, and we'll go ahead and type in root password, and this time we're going to add the private key file, and we're going to get that out of our documents and our server keys and our private key, and we're going to go ahead and click open, and this time I'm going to save. So now when I need to connect to my server, I just click log in, and it'll ask for my RSA key, not the root key, but the key that you created, or the password that you created for your key there. And now we can connect to our server using a secure login. The other thing that we can do is we can connect PuTTY to our SSH, and we can do that. Let me see here. I believe we go into options and then preferences, and then we look for let me see here, applications, and it'll ask for your PuTTY path. Now I already have mine set. Depending on where yours is, you'll just browse for it, find your PuTTY exe file, and just click OK, and you're good to go. Once that happens, you can click the little PuTTY key here, and what it's going to do is it's going to load everything for you, and then you just enter your password again for your key, and now you're connected to your server. So with that being done, what we need to do now is we need to get into the home directory, which is right here. And to do that, we're going to type cd, which is change directory, and then we'll just type home. And now we're in the home directory. Now we need to download that Litespeed web server that we had grabbed. And we're just going to type WET, which is we get, and we'll paste that download link that we had copied earlier. We'll paste that in here by just right-clicking in there, and we'll just let it download. Okay, once that is done, then we need to extract that file. And to extract that file, we'll just type tar and xv fz, and then the file name, which is this right here, and I'm just going to copy and paste it just to go a little bit faster here. So we've unpacked the file. Now we need to change directories again and go into that directory, which would be the LSWS 4.2.2. Now we're inside that directory. If we go back in here and we refresh this, you'll see that you have the LSWS 4.2, and now this is the folder that we're actually in. From here, what we have to do is upload our license file that we had downloaded already, and I have mine over here. I'm just going to grab that and just copy it over here. It's just a trial license key, but it is needed in order to go forward. Once you have done that, all you need to do at this point is just /install.sh. Now you just hit your enter key and you can scroll down. Once you get close to the 90%, you want to go a little bit slower here because we need to agree to this. So we're going to type with capital Y. We're going to type yes and hit enter. This is the destination that I want this installed, and now I need to create an admin for it. And I am just for the demo purposes, I will just type admin and a password. Now the email address that I'm going to use, we'll just, I guess we'll just use admin at dfghosting.com. Now, since I'm installing this with cPanel, I'm just going to hit 1 and hit enter. And I don't want an offset. I want to be able to switch back and forth between Litespeed and Apache. So in this case, I'm just going to hit 0 and hit enter. And I do want to enable the PHP suite. And in that case, I'll just hit 1 and we'll go. Now, would you like to have Litespeed web server started automatically in the case that you reboot the server? In that case, just hit yes, and from here we will just hit enter, and from here I am also just going to hit enter again. Would you like to start now? Yes, and my trial will expire in 13 days. Now, one thing I do want to do is go ahead and reboot the server from this point. So from here I'm just going to cd back to the root, and then I'm going to just type reboot. And the server will restart. We'll just click OK there. And we can go ahead and close putty. This will come back up here in just a second when it reconnects. if it responds. We'll see here in just a second. And we're restarted. So enter my passcode again, and I'm back in here. And I can go back into home. I can go ahead and delete this. I don't need it any longer. So we'll get that out of the home directory. And if we go back into our WHM and we scroll down to the bottom here, let's see here. Actually, just a second. The screen's just so small now. So here I have my plugins, and then I have my Litespeed web server. Now, right now, I am running Litespeed web server. Apache's not running. What I do want to do, and the reason why I compiled Apache and PHP prior to installing Litespeed, is so if I want to switch back and forth, I can use the same settings. So I do want to enable easy Apache integration. And all I do is click that and then click next. And that has been done. Now, one thing I do want to also do is build a matching PHP binary. We don't currently have a matching PHP binary for Litespeed web server. So I will click build. It has found errors. I need to build this matching the PHP 5.3.21. So I will just click next, and it will start building, and this will take a few minutes. While this happens, we will just, I guess, wait for it to finish, and it will take, I don't know, probably about 5 or 10 minutes or so. So I will pause again, that way the video is not all drawn out. We'll be back in just a moment. Now, once that is finished, we're good. We can just go back here. And right now the server is running Litespeed and not Apache. We can go into the Litespeed configuration. You can go into the web console, which I think I just used this here. And this is the web console. We want to go into general, and we have this stuff here. What we probably need to do is go ahead and go into the home here. There's a lot of settings that you could set. There's a lot of security settings. I would just recommend looking at Litespeed's website to get a little more familiar with everything. What I am going to do is restart Litespeed. That way that's done. Now everything's looks like it's running fine. And what we're going to do is transfer a website. The website that I'm going to move, just because it's easy, is I'm going to move Killigan.net. That's all there is to it. As you can see, this site right now is running on a server with Litespeed. But if we go in and we want to transfer this site quickly and easily through SSH, what we would do is just go into our backups here, and we download or generate a backup. I have a backup that I did just a little while ago. So what I'm going to do is go into the file manager, and we're just going to move this backup file. And I'm just going to click on it, and I'm just going to click, I'll just copy it over, and we're just going to copy it to the public HTML folder. Just copy that, and we'll go into the public HTML. We have this file. I'm going to rename it because this is just a long name, and I don't feel like typing all that in to transfer it, so I'm just going to erase all this here and rename the file. Now, once the file is renamed, we can't copy it with the permissions there that are set at 600. So I'm just going to change that to 757 or 755 or something so I can grab it through SSH. So what we'll do is we'll go back in here and I'll just reopen PuTTY real quick. And I'm going to cd back into the home directory, and then I'm going to type wget and I think that's right. Alright, so the file is now downloaded and it should be right here in our home directory now, and it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our web server, and we're going to go up here and we're going to go into backups, and then we're going to go into restore a full site backup. And in here we should see right here possible CP move archives, and we're just going to grab the first name, which is everything before the .tar.gz, and we'll just click restore. And it'll take just a second, depending on how big your file is. You might, it'll take a little bit longer, but the account has been restored, and so that's good. And then back in your file manager, we should now have a folder. Let me refresh this. Go back. Called Killigan, and this has all of my stuff in it. So the site's been transferred over, and I can actually go ahead and delete this. I don't need it anymore either. So let's go ahead and delete that off the server. Now, to view that site, we just go ahead and type in the search box. We'll just type list, and then it'll show us our accounts. And what I can do is I can just grab this IP address just so I can get to that site, and we'll just do a / squiggly line Killigan, and the site should load right up. And as you can see, it's on the server we've been using, and it's running Litespeed web server. Now, as you refresh, and I don't have cache or anything else turned on, but the site loads pretty quick. There is a difference. If I were to go into, let's see here, let's get rid of that. Scroll to the bottom here real quick. I need to restart that, but I'm not going to right now. We'll just go ahead and go back in here to plugins, Litespeed web server, and what I can do is I can switch to Apache, or I can stay on Litespeed. I'm going to go ahead and switch to Apache real quick. And you can do this if you have any issues with Litespeed or anything like that. You should be fine. Now if I go back to my demo site and I refresh the site, now you can see down here, now it's running Apache. However, it's not, generally not as fast. As you can see, it's, 0.11 seconds. It's using more memory at 8.05 megabytes, whereas when I'm running Litespeed, and we'll go ahead and switch back, and you can, like I said, modify Litespeed. You can tweak it quite a bit, and you can actually get some better performance out of it. But, just that quick. And now my memory usage is only 1.5. So if you're running a VPS server, I would highly recommend using Litespeed web server. If you can, if you have a high-profile website, a website that has a lot of graphics, a lot of traffic, and I would also recommend a VPS server, and I would recommend running Litespeed web server. They do have a free version of Litespeed web server, but it does not have all of the options that the enterprise version does. The enterprise version works really well, and it's inexpensive for a VPS server. It only works up to 2 gigabytes of RAM on a VPS server. Otherwise, you have to purchase a standard 2 CPU license, which is a little bit more expensive. But the load speed, the memory usage, it's just that's how I would personally recommend running a VPS server, especially with evolution-xtreme, WordPress, Joomla, vBulletin, IPB, even PHPBB. If anyone has any questions about any of this, you can contact me directly at evolution-xtreme.com, dfgdesign.com, dfghosting.com, or hostdaemon.com. If you want to take advantage of the Litespeed web server, DFG Hosting is not running Litespeed web server on our servers. Hostdaemon.com, however, is running Litespeed web servers. So those are options as opposed to just having a VPS. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.